Hi everyone, I'm Claire.
And I'm John.
And today we're talking about an article with a rather scary title, Every Mother's Nightmare. I'm sure you can already guess exactly what that is. But perhaps to give you an extra hint or make it a little bit more specific, check out the first question. Have you ever heard of sudden infant death syndrome?
Otherwise known as SIDS.
Oh, SIDS, they do the acronym.
They do the acronym in America, probably, because Americans love acronyms. Yes, I heard about this when I was just a young kid, actually. I remember being on a road trip with my parents. I believe we must have been coming back from California when I heard on the radio all about SIDS and sudden infant death syndrome. And at the time, I mean, I must have not been much, must have been around 10, 9 to 11. And I was like, wow, people can just, kids can just suddenly die without any reason. And that was 20 something years ago. And they still don't know quite what is happening. They know a little bit better, but they don't know quite what is happening. Anyways, it's an overarching term that basically talks about different categories, now they know, of how babies will die without any outside influence.
Yeah. I think when I first heard about it, they used to call it in the UK cot death. When it was sort of first
COT.
being researched. And they didn't know anything back then. It just seemed to be a sort of spontaneous thing, but they are doing more research and we understand some of the possible reasons why it happens. But yeah, that must be terrifying.
I know.
To just, for no reason, a perfectly healthy baby, and then it just spontaneously dies for apparently no reason.
I can't imagine just being like, and what do you do as a couple? Well, I guess we'll kind of get into that. Oh, yeah.
So I think, again, the first cases when I started hearing about cot death was from mothers who had been accused of killing the baby because no one could figure out why the baby had died. Maybe the father was out at work and the mother was the only person in the house. So suspicion kind of fell upon the mother.
Why not?
But obviously then science later is proving that it wasn't her. How would you feel if you were accused of a crime you hadn't committed?
I've thought a lot about this. Number one, I would feel absolutely indignant the entire time until I was released from jail or whatever happened. And I would seek to right the wrongs that were made. However, you can't always control your future, even if you're right. And I've already prepared myself mentally. If I go to jail for a bad reason, I have to keep my spirits high and I have to keep focused on the fact that I was not wrong. And I'm innocent and I'm just going to have to be patient. But it's a nightmare scenario. I mean, not only having your kids die in this scenario, but going to jail, I just can't imagine it.
Gosh, yeah.
She should get billions of dollars from everyone who talked bad about her.
Wow. Who is this mysterious she that John speaks of? You will have to read the article to find out, or perhaps the summary for the quick overview. Then we'll come back and discuss her specific case of SIDS.
Every mother's nightmare. A woman in Australia lost 20 years of her life for murders that she apparently did not commit. 4 of her children died mysteriously, and everybody assumed it was too big of a coincidence to be anything but murder. But we now know that the children had a rare genetic disorder predisposing them to sudden infant death syndrome. Their mother had to mourn her children while being called a murderer and sent to prison. It is good that she was finally released, but this appears to have been a profound injustice.